right, let's let you know that Ajax midfielder Abdelhak Nouri has suffered serious and permanent brain damage after collapsing over the weekend. The Dutch club has revealed dashing earlier hopes the promising prospect will make a quick recovery. Very, very sad one there. Ajax are deeply saddened by the news that Nouri has been diagnosed with serious and permanent brain damage, the Amsterdam club said in a tweet. Ajax had said Tuesday a preliminary scan and other neurological tests had not detected any anomalies, and that 20-year-old Nouri will be gradually awoken from an induced coma for more detailed examinations. Well, the club received extremely bad news yesterday. Nouri most likely suffered a lack of oxygen when he collapsed on Saturday during a training match. The Amsterdam-born midfielder, who is of Moroccan descent, suffered irregular heart problems and the preseason friendly against German side Werder Bremen in Australia. Very, very heartbreaking news, not only to the club, but then of course to his friends, his family, and the entire football fraternity. I mean, come on, things like this happen and you want to wonder what is going on. A man just beginning his life, just beginning to start to enjoy, are so passionate about his trade, and this has occurred. But then of course you cannot question the Almighty. These things do happen, and the only thing you can do is accept it and pray and say, well, Almighty, He knows best. Yes. Okay, I'm going to bring in the analyst on that one. Yes, a bit heartbreaking there, but then of course we've seen things like this happen, and then you cannot begin to question this man. At this point in time, what to do? What's the best thing to do? What kind of message will be passed across to the club side, and then of course his family, his friend, and that's why I bring in, on a sad note, but then there it is, Elegbete One, the ruler of the Mede Kingdom, and Mr. Kingsley Dehe right here in the studios with me. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Okay, morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Akeem. Good morning to you, Kingsley, and the listeners out there. If there's anybody here in this studio now who understand what it means for injury to stop your career, I think I'm the one. My career was just on the flight, just moving from second division in Sweden, about to sign a club in Denmark, and then I got that injury. First, I thought it was the normal, injury, and then 3 weeks or 1 month or 2 months you'll be back. First thing they said was you're going to be amputated because your knee, the cartilage, whatever, don't destroy. There's no way. And then next thing again, they say, okay, they can do it, but you would stay in a wheelchair or walk with crutches for the rest of your life. Eventually, I was flown to Russia for experimental treatment with horse placenta and placenta from a donkey. And thank God I can walk, but the pain has not stopped since. When I stand on the side, I watch people play. I want to play, but I know if I run, if I exert too much pressure on that leg, I might go back to a wheelchair. That thought is always stopping me. So, but at least I still get opportunity to talk sports. But this one, brain damage, the action word there that just break my heart since yesterday was the word permanent brain damage. Unless miracle happen, and when it comes to the brain, they say I was doing a research yesterday, and they say medical science have not been able to exhaustively get the hang over research on the brain. So what they call permanent brain damage today, because a doctor actually said that my leg was completely destroyed, it will not receive blood downward, it's better to amputate it. Another doctor, a nurse suggested Russia, and another doctor said I can treat it. So I just hope that in the days ahead a doctor can show up and say, okay, we can give him his life back. Maybe not be able to play football, but as young as he is, he could go back to school, he could learn a trade, he could feed his family doing something else, because this is football, this is the hazard of the game. As this thing that happens, so a life don't cut short, so many things are just off there. And the worst thing, in this state you'll be wishing that you're dead.
Oh, well, at this point in time, I must shed more light, because it's one thing if you have a partial,
yes,
injury, but the diagnosis is that a large percent of his brain is not functioning.
Yeah, because they said it's in hemorrhage.
Not even awake.
Yeah, it's in hemorrhage.
So normal brain function is sometimes if you have certain parts of your brain that are still functioning, you can still go ahead, even though you're not living a full life. You still do something. But this large percentage of his brain is not functioning. That's just the thing.
Remind me of that scientist that have brain damage. That's what's his name? I'm trying to remember. That's on which can't really
Stephen
talk.
Hawking.
Stephen Hawking, you understand? Remind me. But how many people can be Stephen Hawking?
Yeah, well, because Stephen Hawking had a virus, a physical thing. You understand? His brain
was alive, but the other part of the body was gone.
Dead. Yes,
but it could. The function of the brain helped him to that great level. But then when the brain shuts down and the rest of the body is there, a vegetable with that.
And reactions have been coming in. So many people. Robin Van Persie tweeted, he says, devastating news about Abdelhak Nouri.
Really.
I wish him and his family all the strength in the world. Eugenia Wijnaldum said, sending all my prayers to you and your family. Ruven Isteroy tweeted, "What a terrible news. My thoughts and prayers go out to Abdul Haq Nouri, his family, his friends, and to Ajax."
It's just painful that it wasn't even a competitive match. It's a pre-season.
I got
friendly.
injured in the preseason too. Like 4 minutes to the end of the game.
Look, before the game, yesterday morning, before Arsenal started playing the game against Sydney FC, I was talking to Femi and talking to Anthony. I said, in a preseason game, you need to be very careful because what happens when you sustain injury, life-threatening injury during a preseason. You're not going to be part of the season coming. You're going to be out, and
that's the pressure.
Football is a competitive game. You want to give your best at all times.
The thing is, with injuries like this, there must have been a pre-existing condition because he had cardiac arrhythmias. That's how there were even problems during the game against Werder Bremen. You understand? So you might say, okay, maybe the rigors of a game actually brought it to the fore, but then it wasn't as if it was occasioned particularly by the game. It must have had a pre-existing condition, and that might have triggered other things. So it could have happened then, it could have happened later, it could have happened when he was home, it could have happened when he was taking a shower. You understand?
I think the fall accelerated it.
It's just one of those things that happen, and then you just... Well, like I said, you can't question
thoughts
God.
with the player and his family. So we have to pray for him, and we'll keep praying for him. Miracles still possible. Miracles still happen.
Yes,
so
that's one thing.
That's the only thing we can hope for right now. Miracle.
Let's hope for a miracle.
All right, Sports Radio 88.9 Real FM, your champions. Achudize Okoroje, Overdose, the Elder, also in the building. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good morning to Kingsley and to the Elegate One and the fans out there.
All right, let's Overdose joining us on this one. Let's quickly go to Manchester United, whose quest to sign Inter Milan winger Evan Perisic is unthinkable, and that's according to sporting director of the Italian club. Yes, the Croatian international has been strongly linked with a move to Old Trafford this summer as Jose Mourinho looks to bolster his attacking option. Speculation increased recently when Perisic liked a recent Paul Pogba Instagram post welcoming Romelu Lukaku to the Red Devils. That of course is a matter of perspective. However, Inter chief Piero Osilio had dismissed the notion of the Italian giants losing him this summer for the 28-year-old back in pre-season training with the club. Perisic scored 11 goals in 42 appearances for the Nerazzurri last season. United have made 2 signings so far this summer, with the acquisition of Lukaku following the signing of Victor Lindelof. All right. I mean, if I like a tweet now, does it mean I want to,
I like tweets from other presenters from other stations. Does that mean I'm going to the station? No.
You understand?
The way the football world is, there is a speed.
Anything you do can be, it depends on who's doing the interpreting. You understand?
Yes, it depends. It's open to interpretation. Because sometimes when they say he liked a tweet from Manchester, means he's going to Manchester. I was like, I've liked tweet from almost every media.
If a coach likes the tweet,
I will retweet
some. Maybe he's going to that.
This are not changing.
A few days ago, I saw Mendy putting on a short with a British flag.
Union Jack.
And I thought it was like
nationality.
It's coming.
No, you know the funny thing. That Union Jack short. Me, when I saw it, the first thing that came to my mind is this is a photo op.
Okay.
This is a photo op. I mean, Frenchman wearing a Union Jack shirt. If I understand the French very well, that will not happen. That thing was a photo op.
Okay.
He just did it for photo. Let's get you in the news. These days, people's money and salary go up if they're in the news. So you need to get in the news. Don't just be mending. Just be viral. Once you can go, the world is viral now.
It's to increase your value.
Yeah.
Okay, let me bring you gentlemen back home. Yesterday, we're still talking about how things, we talked about the coach's Gennett Raw issue and rumors that he's getting close to being fed up and saying, I might actually hang in the boots. When we return, we'll talk about Mutiu Adepoju and his appealing to the presidency to step into football in Nigeria.
I know say you be big boy, you don't show. Drive around with the big toy, you don't show. But if hunger hammer you don't show. Chop mini me no do, obey your hunger. You not fine girl, you don't show. Just fix your fine hair, you don't show. But when hunger mama you don't show. Chop mini me no do, obey your hunger. The hunger is telling you, obey your hunger. Chop mini me no do, obey your hunger. So satisfying, obey your hunger. Be yourself, oh. You don't chop. The hunger they tell you, obey your hunger. Chop mini me no do, obey your hunger. Anytime, anywhere, obey your hunger. Be yourself, oh.
Obey your hunger and enjoy the amazing taste of Mini Me Noodles.
Mini Me noodles, obey your hunger.
There can only be one. Sports Radio 88.9 Brilla FM.
Yes, Sports Radio 88.9 Brilla FM, your champions now. Welcome back. A freaky, fabulous Friday edition of Football 360 Degrees. Now we're talking about Mutiu Adepoju. It has appealed. He has appealed to the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, to go beyond just approving money to the NFF as Nigeria continues the quest to land in Russia for FIFA World Cup 2018. Now, when you take a look at Mutiu Adepoju, now is someone that a lot of people actually respect. Soft-spoken gentleman, knows the game, is not somebody to cry wolf unnecessarily. So you want to take a look at it when someone like this is appealing to the presidency to come into the game of football and do something. If our quest to go to Russia is not to be derailed. So you want to wonder, what has Mutiu seen that he will call? And of course, taking cognizance of the fact that government intervention into football is actually frowned on, and at least by the organizing body. So what exactly could have made Mutiu say, Oga VP, step into this one?
I'm not going to disrespect Mutiu Adepoju's opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. But in my own opinion, I stand against that. I think Mutiu Adepoju did wrong. He's entitled to his opinion, but I think he's wrong there. One, is our World Cup qualification in disarray? No. We're not going to have presidential task force all the time. The last presidential task force we had, we're still dealing with the problem. The mess they created, we're still dealing with it. A lot of people might not be happy with this thing I'm saying right now. I mean, there's some eye service people who say about your boss. Are you attacking your boss? No, I'm not attacking my boss. The entire presidential, my boss was just a part of it, and I've said it to him even that presidential task force was uncalled for. The mess you guys created, you guys have still not been fixed. They hijacked players' bonuses to $10,000. We struggled. One wanted to come down. That led to the problem with Kesha and the rest of them. We don't need presidential task force. We didn't have presidential government interference, and we won 2 games. We lose to South Africa does not change the whole world. There was
so indirectly you are saying that's what Mutiu Adepoju is calling.
Yeah, that's what
are you saying Mutiu is crying wolf?
It's crying wolf where there is nothing. Because let's talk about where government is fully involved. The Olympic team is where government is fully involved, and we know how government messed it up. You understand me? We know how government. Some of us who play active role in getting that team to fly from Atlanta to Brazil, and I say that with all sense of responsibility because I played a very big role in it. Government did not do anything. They not live up to their responsibility. Now, NFF has sponsors. They are trying to run their thing, and Mutiu Adepoju is calling for government to get involved. I think this is needless eye service. The painful
thing about it is that before the South Africa game, even before we started this campaign, how often did the technical committee liaise with the coaching crew? So much so that the sports minister had to come in to say there should be more cohesion. There should be more meetings. You ask a member of the technical crew, what's the latest? It tells you, I don't know. We've not met in a long while.
But he's not
a member of the technical committee that is supposed to offer technical assistance to the coaching crew of the Super Eagles, now saying crying foul, saying Vice President controversy. I don't understand.
It's the government of the day not dealing with so much with the economy of this country.
That's what I want to understand. When he's saying they should intervene, in what way?
Good.
Is it by providing money? Is it by creating
opportunities
for talent?
Like they shouldn't provide money and not monitor it.
I think you should challenge it to the NFF president, Amaju Pinnick. I mean, you look at the fact that yes, we lost against South Africa, but then other top countries in the world, they lose matches too. Teams have lost, qualifying matches. But I think what he's really talking about is the fact that we've not been to 2 editions. So that in itself, when you look at it, it's a cause to worry. But I think he's just going about it the wrong way. First off, the technical committee should sit down and then be able to meet.
Another thing that I frown at is if Mutiu Adepoju know this much, telling us that government should get involved, what has Mutiu Adepoju and his technical committee group done in terms of integrating grassroots development? Because that's not the real job of the technical committee. Integrating grassroots development football, setting out a blueprint for how to get players from under 10, under 12 to the under 17, and we watch them grow into under 20, under 23, and the Super Eagles. What are they doing? No blueprints. They don't do that now for almost 4 years plus. So they're not doing anything in that regard. So that's the very fulcrum of the matter. If you cannot do your job, stop putting your nose in another person's job. You don't know your job. If you know your job, I will go understand. You never even know your job definition. All of them want to talk about Super Eagles. The simple reason is in the Super Eagles, that's where you get dollars. In the Super Eagles, that's where you get big bonus. In the Super Eagles, that's where you can influence your player to come in, and then you get paid.
And then nobody is talking about the under 17.
All right. Sports Radio 88.9 Real FM, your champions dial Football 360 Degrees. Of course, you know.
After
you
another
can jump in on it. All you need to do is pick up a phone and dial 0700 Can also tweet at 889 Real FM, and of course the Facebook fan page Sports Radio Brilla for Orilla. So much to talk about and so little time, so let's make the most of it. Let's also let you know that Barcelona and Benfica have reached an agreement for the transfer of Nelson Semedo, pending a medical later today. More on that when we return to the show. But then full lines are buzzing. Let's bring you on board. Hello, good morning to you, somebody. Hello. No. Gremlins on that one. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. How you doing, bro? Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Well, fine, thank you.
Yeah, I don't really, I don't want you to do with Anthony Bekeremo this morning.
What is your name? What is your name?
Anthony
My name is Adekola. I'm calling from Abuleba.
Adekola, are you sure you've been listening? Anthony is not even present in the studio this morning.
Maybe I don't know, the guy that just spoke on that said he has injuries, so I don't even know the name. But what I just want to say is that...
I'm sorry. For someone who's not been paying attention, who cannot identify who said what, I'm low to let you, participate. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you.
Morning. My name is Kelechi. I'm calling from Birmingham.
All right, let's hear from you, Kelechi.
Okay, I can feel the anger from Elegbatel's voice. He just like Mutu Adepoji is leaving his work and calling another person to come and do it for him. I think that is unfair. They know what they are supposed to do, so let them do it to make our football great. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. As Football 360, hello. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Very fine.
Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning.
Let's hear from you.
I don't have much to say. I just want to appreciate you guys this morning for the breaking things down for listener. Good morning for you guys. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Yes, Football 360 Degrees. Hello. Good morning to you.
Yeah, this is a calling from Lucky.
All right, let's hear from you.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, everything I first time again, visiting your way. I can share the way he's so good again and he said, that's fine. Okay, please, I asked that, I feel so sorry for you. It's very painful, suffering any kind of damage like that. I hope you recover, and get a miracle because I think it's only a miracle he needs. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
My name is Victor Wane. I'm calling from Ikeja.
How you doing today, brother man?
Fine. Really, man, the reality on ground is that they play from field. They really don't know the job. Can they tell Nigerians what they've been doing since they entered that committee? Because coming out to say you need a presidential intervention or whatever is not the issue. What is presidency intervening on? There are so many things. They have their work cut out for them. Let them do their work. And leave the national coach to do his own work. They should tell us what pattern do we play in this country as a nation. Do we have an identity in football? That's their job. Let them give us an identity. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you so much. God bless you too. Squeezing one final call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Jiggy Man.
Good morning to you, bro.
I greet everyone. This is Kadri calling.
Hi, welcome.
I heard you talk about Perisic, you understand?
Yes.
If that guy can come to United, I'm telling you, to be a good addition to the strike force, you understand? So I will welcome him as a Man U fan. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. I'll let you know about movements up and down. And yes, before then, I said Barcelona and Benfica had reached an agreement for the transfer of Nelson Semedo pending a medical later today. Also, Arsenal forward Olivier Giroud has emerged as a potential signing for Borussia Dortmund if star striker Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang leaves the club this summer. I'll give you more updates, and all you need to do is stay tuned and locked on Sports Radio 88.9 Real FM. Don't also forget you can watch and listen live when you log on to www.brilla.com. football360.net. Let's go give you the sports pages.
Freaky Fabulous Friday at the Champion Sports Video 88.9 Brother FM. It's time to check out what the papers are about this morning as we serve you today's edition of Sports Pages. I am Victor Ohani. Welcome to this side of the action. We go straight to the Vanguard. Getting started this morning. First at the says, Raw, I have no plans to quit Eagles. FIFA Under-17 World Cup. Kanu laments Nigeria's no-show in India. Russia 2018, Adepoju cries to VP for help. FIFA clears Olaino to play for Nigeria.